If you're tuning in today, I'm going to say that you're definitely in for a bit of a treat. I'm going to be talking to Chad Chatterton, who's one of our lead environment artists on the project, and Damien Tournaire, who's in charge of making the game look pretty with his crazy lighting skills. I'm Hamish Bode, and you're listening to the official The Division podcast. Welcome, guys.
Hello.
How's it going?
Yes, very good.
Yeah?
Thank you for having us.
No, it's gonna be fun. I promise. I'm actually a bit out of breath. Sorry. Running upstairs made me realize how ridiculously unfit I am.
Yes,
but it's a good conversation starter because I would be screwed in an environment where you actually have to get stuff done, and I don't think I would last long. So. First question, how long do you think you'd last if the Division was a reality?
Oh, that.
That? Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you reckon you'd do well? Some of your Australian outback tips?
I was, along with Damien, I was lucky enough to spend a week in New York when we were researching, photographing Manhattan. And that was just a week, and I don't think I could last much longer than that.
It's a pretty intense place.
It was intense days and intense weather.
Yeah, because you guys went in the middle of winter, right?
Yeah,
correct.
Pretty good reference.
And every day was a different type of weather, and we stay up from 5 in the morning until 11 night as much as we could.
Yeah, I remember when you got back, because you were kind of like although you were all taking photos, Damien, you were kind of the principal photography nerd. And I think you came back with how many thousand photos?
Yeah, 6,000. I mean, just on my own, right? And it's about the same for you, Chad.
Yeah, about the same. About 1,000 a day.
There is definitely some gold in there. Anyway, so let's give people a little perspective on what you guys both do on the project. Chad, you what would you say that you do?
I'm the lead environment artist.
Okay, very cool. Damien, what about you?
So now I'm, my title, if we can speak like this, is a senior lighting artist. I've been here since 2012. So from the first E3, I've been helping out with lighting and developing research and development, look development and this kind of thing. And now it's more finishing the game to make it look as consistent and pretty as we can.
Awesome. Forgive my ignorance, I think we've talked about it in the past, but you have a background in film?
Yeah,
Am I right?
I come from, I was working in Square Enix Visual Work, where we do trailers mostly for game. So it's a full CG environment, very different from real time. And since I moved to Massive, I mean, it's a lot of fun because plenty of new challenges, and the pipeline is still, I mean, it's not set in stone like you have in movies or production company, but yeah. Okay,
so in the simplest of terms, because I probably won't even grasp it, what do you do from day to day, and how does kind of lighting work inside of Snowdrop that might be similar or a little bit different from film?
Right now, the thing that we choose is we have a game that is dynamic. We have a time of day, and we have the weather system, and we have a lot of things that make it very different from film, because all of this environment is changing, and it's of course an environment where you can explore, like 360 degrees. So for lighting wise, we just need to make sure it looks good and it's physically based.
Okay. When you say physically based, how does that work?
Basically, it's just to reproduce and simulate the way the sun and the skies react with all of the light and scattering, and the way it affects the environment.
Yeah. So is that the weird balls that I sometimes see?
Yeah. This is we have a GI system that help out to diffuse the lighting, the indirect lighting, depending time of day. So, well, I wanted to say also that the physically based is also concerned material and the way we the light interact with materials. And here again, there is still a limit and the artistic choice that might change the physically based. We have the physically based, but after we manipulate it to our needs a little bit.
Oh, okay. So do you guys work closely together or completely separately, or?
Yeah,
Closely.
Yeah. How does that? How do you mean?
In workflow-wise, Damien is waiting on us to
Shooting evil looks in your direction.
Yeah. So we
Hurry
have
up.
to bring areas, particularly interiors, up to a certain level before Damien can go in and start to light those spaces.
Obviously, the lighting of interior and exterior areas is completely different, right?
yes.
What are the kind of challenges that you have with interior environments? That
Our interiors is a lot of technical issue because at the very, very beginning we were thinking just doing an open world game with outdoor environment only. So we were focusing on the weather and the time of day and stuff like that. Then we introduced the fact that we can go in buildings now, and it becomes more and more important for our game.
Yeah.
So it brings a lot of technical problem and challenge for having the sun not affecting the indoors, to get good looking visuals when you are indoor. You need to do much more lighting as well. It's very important for the gameplay and also for to bring in the atmosphere. So that's as a lighting artist, indoors environment is definitely more suitable for us to do good stuff.
Very cool. Of all the features that we have that you guys work with every day, obviously not gameplay mechanics or animations or that sort of stuff. Those are the other guys downstairs. But what are you most excited and impressed by? I know for me it's probably some of the destruction stuff that I've seen, which is really cool. How about you, Chad?
Yes, so I think as artists we are extremely lucky working with Snowdrop.
Yeah.
I anticipate that level designers would agree. It's a very artist-friendly engine, and by that I mean you can iterate very quickly. We are 3D app agnostic, so you can use whatever 3D app you want to work with, provided you supply an FBX that's correct. Then Snowdrop is happy. I think one thing that is significant about Snowdrop and the what it represents, or the era it represents, is that we are in. If we could make an analogy to art history, we are in the golden age of Dutch painting right now.
Oh, okay.
So
I like this analogy.
yeah, we are post-Renaissance. We are so where those painters, those particular painters I'm thinking of, would focus on often still lives that had a lot of glass and metal surfaces that refracted and reflected light in an interesting way. And even if you go to Vermeer's the painting with the girl with the earring, the earring itself is principal in the painting. And so what I'm talking about here is the equivalent in that Snowdrop represents is that we're in the golden age of shaders. So we have, whereas the previous generation might have had 4 or 5 shaders or a multi-shader or something, we have over 2,000 shaders, meaning we can do whatever we like with shaders. And fans, of course, would be familiar with a Megamap, which is itself a shader.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay. That's very different from even what I thought.
It's a very expanded experience of shaders. So the going back to the paintings, it's an interest in optics, about the details of how light bounces around and deals with surfaces. So like Damien said, it's a PBR based engine, and so we can get a very high fidelity, a photorealistic look if we like with the materials and the way light interacts.
Awesome. Okay, that was a fantastic answer. But much better. You could have just said shaders, and I would have been happy with that. But that was beautiful.
Yeah.
That was
I agree.
amazing. Okay, but favorite shader. Let's drill down. What's the one that makes you go, oh yeah?
snow on the ground, I think.
The snow on
probably
the
is.
ground?
Yeah. I mean, but I'm no good
I
at
mean,
picking
yeah.
favorites, actually. But I wouldn't want to miss that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Recently, there is this upgrade, like for the all of the billboard, like Oscar, Jensen, or Takeout guys did. It was
Mhm.
pretty impressive, where you can go close to a billboard and you can see all of the LED and the RGB thing coming in. So I mean, it's an extra level of detail, and
That's so cool.
it's the kind of thing, yeah, that impressed me. It's really
It's
nice.
the kind of thing you don't have to do,
Mm.
but I think
Mhm.
that's the cool part. Is like
Yeah.
some of the stuff that I've seen that the tech artists are doing. It's like, well, you didn't really need to do that, but like that's awesome.
But it seems like you can develop shaders. I'm not really good at shader at all, but
Mhm.
last year there is this smart tech art guy, Magnus Anders, that on his free time make it work with the Oculus VR technology.
Yeah.
And when I tried it with this, I was super impressed that actually the scale of Manhattan
hmm
was totally there.
So I mean, it is a while since you've been to New York, almost coming up on 2 years.
Mm.
Looking back, are there things that you remember from that trip that you can see in the game now?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, a
Okay.
lot.
What kind of things that?
Some streets. I mean,
Yeah.
if you're not living in New York, you probably don't know.
hmm
But if you're a New Yorker and then you play the game or you go around the city,
Yeah.
you will recognize some spot.
Yeah, there's a guy on Reddit who started a thread after the last E3 demo about
Mm.
Bryant Park. I don't know if you guys saw that one.
Not the thread.
And he's talking because he apparently lives quite close, or I don't know if he lives on Manhattan or he commutes in, but he was saying that it's like eerily accurate, like which is, I thought was really
Yeah.
cool.
I think the area that we walked on last year is still like a big area. Madison Square Garden area is really nice, I think, for the representing the similarity with the real New York.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing is that we don't necessarily try to imitate New York, but I would say we emulate it.
I have this. This is fantastic. I was like, oh, what can I ask you guys about? But there was this really good fact about Bryant Park that I thought was really cool. Oh no, this is Washington Square Park. 20,000 bodies buried underneath it, because Madison Square Park, Washington Square Park, Union Square Park, and Bryant Park used to be cemeteries. Fun fact. Did you know this?
I knew it of Washington, but not all of them.
Yeah, all of them used to be cemeteries apparently. And yeah, Washington Square Park, 20,000 bodies under there. That's creepy.
Well, there's more now.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Yes.
So, I mean, there's a lot of crazy stuff that happens in that city that I think that we don't see or hear about. And that's one of the cool things about working here is like often on our internal like spam messaging, someone will come up and be like, did you see this random thing that someone's discovered about New York? Was there anything that when you were there you didn't expect?
That I didn't expect. I think maybe it's not so exciting to mention, but the level of trash, the level of construction, the sense of it feeling like a man-made island that was under constant maintenance, I think was surprising. It's something that we had begun to hit on before we went there, even with the first E3. We were touching on that a bit, but once we got there, it was really significant, I think.
I really like that so many like different districts really have very different feel. All of those in a small island on a compact area, there's so much personality.
It's really different from I think where we all grew up.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd never experienced. I've been there once, and I had never experienced anything like it. It's kind of unexplainable, right? Because you are from Melbourne or Sydney? I can't remember.
Melbourne.
All right, and
I'm from the south of France.
okay, so again, very different.
Yeah, it's just nature over there, so not much
Yeah,
of a big city with
It's pretty much the opposite.
yeah.
yeah.
No, it's super strange. So I have some. This is something that I do every time. Is I ask my guys on Twitter if they have any questions for you guys along the lines of environmenty and lighting things this time. And there's some pretty cool ones. Actually, I'll throw this one at you, Chad. Deep Fried Dave, fantastic name by the way. Asks which environmental details are you personally most proud of? So I guess from an art perspective.
Which details are you most proud of?
Yeah.
I think, and this is something I'm assuming the question is about the environment team in generally, not me personally. But I think
Maybe both.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of Benedict Polsnig, who leads the open world team.
Mhm.
I think he has brought a touch to the propping that you mentioned, that you hit on before when you said the details that don't really need to be there. The elements on their own might not be particularly important, but the way they're put together, the whole equals more than the sum of the parts. And I mean, the whole team is I think, working on this level. But I mentioned Benedict because I think he really led that element in the environment.
This one, Damien, this is probably a good one for you. Matthew Lawrence asks, what is your favourite setting of the game to light? Night or day?
Oh,
And of course there are other times
yes.
than night and day, there's all the in-betweens.
yes.
What do you get a kick out of?
So basically, obviously for lighting artists, right now we have our weather system that
Mhm.
has been put in place and it's almost done. So during the for the lighting per se, we need to do it at nighttime to make sure that the lighting, when it's going to be nighttime, looks good everywhere. During the daytime, we will let all of the weather system and the time of day take care of this. So my favorite area to it, my main concern for me is to get a consistency everywhere, and I want to make sure it looks good as much as we can everywhere in the world.
I think I hadn't seen as many times of day as I probably should have, but I remember this one clip that someone shared, it would have been a couple of months ago now, and it was just walking down one of the streets, and it was probably about 6 p.m, maybe like
Mhm.
the sun's starting to go down, and it looked freaking
Yeah,
awesome.
yes.
I don't know, do you guys remember the one that got shared on Instagram? I'm loath to say the area
Yeah.
because we haven't shown it before, and I don't want to give any spoilers, but it was really cool.
I know the feeling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we did some this Manhattan Edge, what do you say?
Mhm.
Yes,
Where
like
there's
Stonehenge, but Manhattan Edge.
We place it in the game, so
So that's in there.
yeah,
Ah,
that's
okay.
why. But at 6:02 in the morning in our time,
Mm.
you get that sun going down
So
the
yeah,
street.
because someone asked about that.
So that's why it's
while
it's
ago.
in.
Yeah.
So it's in there, confirmed.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's probably not the most realistic thing, but we wanted to have it there because it looks
Mm.
Well, do you know what street
more
that's
interesting.
on?
Many streets you can see it.
Okay, so it's one
because
of those-
it's on the sunrise. When you
Mhm.
look down the street, you will be able, if there is not much too much propping, or depending what's in the street, you can see the sun.
Ah, okay, that's cool. All right, I'm gonna have to keep a lookout for that one as well. Okay, this one's cool. Tokyo Joe, a guy who actually, I don't know if you saw the dioramas that one of our fans made, which are really cool. He's asking, will there be any bad weather, etc., snowstorms,
Oh, yes.
and that sort of thing.
So
People don't
Mm.
know.
yes. No, I mean this is that's the type of weather that excites me the most, frankly.
Mhm.
I also know that there is some discussion for gameplay, so
Mm.
that we make sure we make a game so it needs to look. I mean, the people needs to be able to play the game without any problem.
Mhm.
But we should have this weather in,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's gonna be blizzard and a lot of cool stuff, but it won't happen all the time.
Yeah.
Sebastian Lindhoff did a lot of thinking on all of the process to change between weathers and stuff like that. So we'll have some random, and we're gonna have a logic in the weather system.
Okay.
So the blizzard will come after overcast or another bad weather. But
So
it
it's
will-
not completely random. It's just
yeah, there is a logic, and
That's really
it's a little bit complex system, but I think we have something solid right now.
Mm.
Right, we can
and-
probably do a whole podcast just about his weather system then.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
that's it's very fun. But I think player will enjoy it because they will never experience an area twice the same way.
That's really
There is almost barely zero chance that they can be in one spot and get the same type of weather.
That's really cool. I think the biggest thing that becomes a challenge, which is really cool in terms of gameplay. I was playing the other day, and visibility became very different.
Mm.
Yes.
Is that a challenge? Is it?
No, this will affect the gameplay. I mean, when in a weather system we have some options, so it will change the way AI and NPC will see us. So
Oh, okay. So
it will reduce their vision accordingly to the fog.
Okay. So they won't aggro. Well,
So of course you will
If-
still have an advantage on them,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, of course you cannot see as far as you could, and they cannot see as far as they could.
Because that actually already answers the question of Caleb, who was asking how much does light affect the awareness of enemies. Well, I mean that's light, weather, and that sort
Yeah.
of thing.
But I think the nighttime also has been a long time discussion because I've been trying very realistic night feeling.
Mm-hmm.
That looks, in my opinion, very nice. But I totally agree that for gameplay and for the game we are doing, we needed to brighten up things
Sure.
to make it look still nighttime, but playable in any kind of weather situation.
Of course.
So yeah, we have a lot of. We try to manipulate and tweak our weather system so it doesn't affect gameplay, but it just makes the experience and the immersion better.
Oh, this one's cool, and for both of you, actually, another Caleb. We have a lot of fans called Caleb, which I've realized in the past couple of months. But it is good. What films or other media inspired the lighting design for the game? And I'll actually extend that to you as well, Chad, because I know that you guys love your films a lot.
Oh yes.
Yes. And I think you guys probably talk about that all the time. But any particular films that you have looked at that have you've drawn inspiration from?
An early reference was Dark Days,
Okay.
which is the documentary about the people living underground in New York. Although that's from memory, I think it's actually black and white. But it was interesting nonetheless. It was a
Mhm.
good reference for lighting and propping.
That's cool. Is it a recent documentary?
No, it's off the top of my head. It's probably 6 or 7 years old, I
Okay.
think, maybe even more.
That's cool.
What are some of the other movies we've really spun on, though?
There is a lot, but the thing is that we have been inspired by so many movies, but I don't think we really try to copy any movies
Yeah,
because we are still doing a game,
of course.
and the cinematography between game and movies, it's very different.
Mhm.
Of course, I mean, we have been looking at Drive, even Gravity, we have been looking at Slumdog Millionaire. I mean,
Mhm.
all of those, the way they process the image and this filmic look,
Okay.
we are trying to get that filmic look.
Okay.
But of course, we need to stay in the range of game.
Is that kind of process that you have for creating that final look? Is that something that is considered in the placement of your lights and that sort of thing, or are we more talking like a post-process treatment?
Yeah, the problem with a game for the post-process treatment, and I love photography, Chad also, and we always post-process a lot of things.
Yeah.
But for a game, which is time of day and weather,
Mm-hmm.
we need to find one good post-processing that covers all type of lighting and weather situation, which means that we need to be very careful when we add a LUT file or when we do some tweak on colors and stuff. We can boost the contrast, we can boost a certain thing.
Yeah, I think there's obviously it's a very different treatment from film because you have such direct implications of your decisions, right? Like, I think the biggest one that pops out is like depth of field, right?
Yeah, no.
Like you see people talking about it all the time. It looks great, but like in a shooter, or when you have shooting mechanics, it can kind of become a little bit problematic.
Yeah, we have the depth of field, like it's more like a gameplay thing now. Of course, it's cool because it's camera related, but we really tied it with the gameplay. So when they focus and they shoot, then the depth of field will change.
Okay.
So, and we're gonna have the depth of field, of course, all the time when we play the game, but we don't really use it when we play the game, except when there will be cinematic sequence.
Okay. So when we do have those sequences, is the look very different? Like the treatment of the camera and those sorts of things?
No, we try to tie it as much as possible from our game, so it stays, all in one, so it doesn't feel disconnected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What else do I have here? Oh, this one's cool as well. Matthew Smith asks, how much of the environment will we interact with? For example, will cars and trash cans move? There are a few things like with the physical interaction that I've seen which are really cool. But I'll let you guys start before I jump in with things that I enjoy.
Yeah, dynamic objects, as we call them, is a layer that we place throughout the world,
Mhm.
indoors and outdoors. Trash does have some special movement,
Mhm.
but I don't know if you've ever talked about that. But
We haven't, but there's a system I've seen that's in place for that sort of stuff, which is cool.
Yeah. So if you like squashing trash, this could be the game for you.
Okay. Squash Trash Simulator
Yes.
2015.
Yeah, and of course, interacting with cars is a thing. Fans know this. Yep.
So there's the car door, obviously,
Yeah.
but we have the boot, okay, the trunk,
Yeah.
which is, I guess, the
Mhm.
American
Yeah.
term for it, and the bonnet or hood that are also open, well, closable. But the thing that I think is really cool about it, and it's really hard to see, but again, one of those things that I've been super impressed by is that I noticed that when your teammate's up on the car, it actually, the suspension
Yeah.
accounts for their weight, which is really cool.
Yep.
And one of those like cool subtle changes that I really like.
And I think if you listen carefully, sometimes you'll hear the roof buckle,
Really?
and when you get up there.
That's cool. Right, I didn't know that. I really like that. There's a few. I've got so many. Because people obviously played the E3 demo, and they were given very clear objectives of things to go and do, and didn't really have a chance to basically just go around and shoot stuff. And we've shown it before, like the tires popping on cars and that sort of thing. But those big warning LCD signs outside the Dark Zone wall, if you shot them, it actually destroyed some of the pixels in the
It
on the
glitched,
display and
glitched the screen.
glitched
yeah.
out, and that was really cool.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to put together a video
Yeah,
to show
the
people
more
some
you
of these
shoot it, the
things.
more it glitches.
I think it's just
That
a
was
game
cool.
in the game, just
Yeah.
destruction.
And some of the QC guys were like, "Oh, you should do this," because the road cones, you could actually like shoot and basically play any kind of game you wanted with those, and you could even, this is my ultimate thing, throw a grenade into the bottom of a road cone, and it would fly off.
Yes.
That was super cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
Can you think of anything else to interact with? We've shown paint cans, we've shown bottles that you can shoot.
Maybe I should have.
Well,
speak-
vegetation reacts to you moving through it.
Yeah. Yeah, and also your clothes they react to weather as well.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
Yeah, you should be able to see the snow building up on the jacket and
Mm-hmm.
dry, and getting wet after it's sunshine
That's really cool.
and drying out.
Yes. Oh, there's something we could talk about forever. Like shooting through a box, a
Mhm.
cardboard box. It creates a hole on both sides.
Yes.
Yes. Very cool. Yes. No, this one's a good one. Alice Kazumitsu asks, are rooftops still accessible?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
that's a short and easy one. Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah, because I mean, we showed it early on,
Yeah.
and we haven't shown it too much. But it's
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, who's gonna get out the sniper rifle if they can't get on the rooftop?
Exactly.
I'm gonna be that guy. Yeah.
You snipe everything.
Yeah.
Chicken in the streets.
Yes. And then people find you, and then you're trapped. So I should probably let you guys get back to work, but there are a lot of people working on the game with you guys that are obviously just as busy.
Yes.
What are you guys focusing on right now in the final stretch?
On the final stretch, like I mentioned before, is just to make sure the game looks consistent all the way.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a feature complete for the weather and stuff, so this is most done. But we still have some work to do for the physically based rendering and the tone mapping and this kind of exposure adjustment to make sure that we get the best graphics as we can.
Yeah. Yeah. So
And,
there's probably a few late nights
Yes.
on the books coming up.
Yeah, no doubt. Some weekends too, I think.
Yeah.
But I think in environment, world-wise, it's not so much a question of hitting the fidelity, because we know we can do that. It's about getting the right tone
Mhm.
So how much does the state of the world impact on the New York that people are familiar with?
Mhm.
How do you describe the story of the people living and working there through the propping on the streets exactly? So it's really just iterating on the story being told at this stage.
Mhm. All right, and there are obviously like you guys have teams that you work with, but directly. But there are a lot of other people who are going to be pulling late nights with you guys. What who else is kind of in here working super hard and is going to have a bit of a rough time?
Yeah, that's the. I mean, of course, every discipline has their own challenge, but on my part, of course, to work with all of the coders and people like Einar, Daniel Westland, those smart guys, they make sure we can produce the best work possible. And Nikolai Stefanov, there is lots of guys here that I wish they need some credit because they really make our life like the best life possible.
I should get them on here sometime. And,
Yeah, you should have a
what
chat.
should I be asking these guys?
I mean, they are very technical people and
Okay.
they are very smart.
I'll try and keep up.
So
Probably
and they know a lot
struggle.
of things, and so
Yeah, good luck with that one.
No, I have this all the time with people here. Notably, I had the other day with Oren, who does all the crazy
Yes.
UI previs and stuff.
Mm.
He's one of the original massive
Yeah.
dudes. I was like, how do you do this thing in After Effects? He's like, just do this, and I was like, whoa. Okay, I thought I knew how to use this program a little bit, and then I kind of got
yes,
put to shame.
there's always something to learn.
Yeah.
There's some
and-
crazy geniuses in this building.
Yeah, definitely.
Quiet geniuses too.
Mm.
And you're
It-
like, oh,
Well,
okay.
in Sweden, so we have to
yeah.
to stay.
Those really humble kind of Swedish
Yes.
geniuses.
Yeah.
They're the best. Okay, anything else to say to the guys who will be listening? We have a community who are really excited for the game.
Yeah.
Oh, just enjoy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Enjoy
so much
feedback.
support, and
Yeah.
we try to make it the best as we can.
Yeah. So you're
That's for
gonna
sure.
gonna try and sleep before we start playing the game?
Yeah,
At
I
some
mean,
Well, you've had a kid recently.
yeah, I do.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes. And you're still like upright.
Of course,
Yeah,
yes.
and awake.
And I split room with my wife, so I sleep on my own room just to make sure I can be sharp during the day. Because if not,
That's
it's
dedication.
not gonna work.
That is some solid dedication.
Yeah, it's a little bit of that.
You
for
should just
sure.
have Chad babysit. That would.
Yeah,
I've
or
done
you
some
can babysit
babysitting.
me.
Oh, you already have?
Yeah.
Well, there you go. All right, you got it all worked out. All right, well, thanks, guys. Before we head off, I'd like to mention that we actually put out some sneaky podcasts in the past couple of months that you might have missed, including a chat with Terry and Tony from Red Storm, where we talk about weapons and those sorts of things, and a late night special edition that I recorded at E3 with 3 awesome guys from our community. So go and check them out if you get a minute or like 30. Okay, have a good one, guys.